If you look closely, the weapons team at Bungie, they've been pretty savvy. When weapons have their perks added, there's a good reason for that, one way or another. Imperative, when I first saw that it came back, I'm like, that's a tough road. That's a high hill to climb. Because when it came out, it was a bad weapon. Terrible weapon. But that was 4 or 5 years ago from that initial release. Lots changed. The perks, sandbox, it's got an origin trait now. This weapon will have some play for some of you. And in this video, there are some things to talk about as far as usage. It has kinetic tremors. And I want you to understand how that's working on scouts and where this thing kind of gets a step above or below depending on what you have. There's a lot to dig into, and you're going to look at the scorecard overview in the beginning and think, I don't know about that, but some of these are going to be higher or lower rated depending on the player. And with my rankings, I've considered what it does in the current sandbox and a little bit of what's already out there, if that makes sense. I'll talk about it as I go on. Collectively, though, Imperative has a lot of play. It does. And as I go on, I'll walk through why each got the score that it got. So for PvE, I have it a 3.5 out of 5. I almost gave it a 4. I'll show you how and where that decision was made. PvP, a 2. Maybe even a 2.5, but it's midline or right below midline. And the reason that it's okay, it actually does a couple really cool things. It's going to depend on the player. The main usage, PvE. The fun factor, 2.5, midline. It is what it is, and with what it is, it's perfectly fine. Build flexibility, 5. Anywhere, any character paired with any exotic. The must-have score, should you get it, a 2.5. It's skewed, and the video is going to lay out if you should get it or not. Imperative's a high-impact kinetic scout. It's got a very, very good origin trait, nano munitions. I love this origin trait. Being near allies builds up a partial emergency refill for the next time this weapon runs out of ammo. And you gain that emergency ammo by spending time near allies. So when you're 15 meters and in from an ally, every 3 seconds, you're going to get a stack of nano munitions. It caps out at 7 stacks. Imperative has a base 13-round magazine. When you reach down to 0, a stack of nano munitions gets thrown in, 4 rounds. So in total, if you have the max stack of nano munitions on this thing, it's going to shoot 41 straight shots. 41. And in a team setting, that's pretty good. The base stats are fine. It's all expected. Range, stability, handling a little bit lower. Aim assist too, but these things have a ton of range and they're coded for more range. PvP, we're talking that 70, 100 meter threshold. And in PvE, a really good distance, not even have any fall off. Big thing about it, it's got a 2.1 times zoom. That's more than the base scout zoom of 2, and that's going to play in a little bit with it all. In the third column, well-rounded, triple tap, keep away, no distractions, rapid hit, demolitionist, subsistence. And in the final column, deconstruct, osmosis, opening shot, explosive payload, adrenaline junkie, attrition orbs, kinetic tremors. I'm going to start in PvE. And the thing to pay attention to is kinetic tremors. And this thing's craftable so it can be enhanced. Enhanced kinetic tremors. And the pairing perk, there are 3 main ways to go about it. Demolitionist. Kills with this weapon generate grenade energy. All of the kinetic tremor kills are going to give you grenade energy. And when you throw your grenade, it's going to refill the magazine. So that's going to be the top choice. You could do rapid hit for more stability and reload. If you have nano munitions with kinetic tremors, when you do actually need to reload, it's going to be fast. And then we have triple tap, and that's going to be paired with nano munitions. Of course, you need to be with a fire team, but that's a long magazine. Let's talk about kinetic tremors real quick on a scout rifle. All scouts, any scout, every single one of them is going to take 6 shots to proc kinetic tremors, and every single one of them is going to do a tremor damage of 8,689. That's just this particular enemy. The main thing to take away, same number of shots, same tremor damage, no matter where you are. In these clips, I have Imperative, High Impact, Hung Jury, Precision Frame, Randy's Throwing Knife, or Rapid Fire Frame. All deal the same tremor damage, all 6 shots. With this being able to get enhanced kinetic tremors, it's going to do it in a bullet less, so 5 instead of 6. In the grand scheme, you might think, that's not too important, but kinetic tremors has a couple delays built in. Delays on when you can reproc it. There's a small delay between each wave. So the goal is to get out as many tremors as you can, but also not really lose any damage, because you're eventually going to have to reload. So like right here, what's cool about it, you can place on a backup mag, or in this case, I have 1 stack of the origin trait, nano munitions. And this allows me to do my 5 shots, get the tremor damage, go through the magazine, go through all the delays, long enough to proc a second kinetic tremor wave, and that's going to be going on as I'm reloading into the next magazine. So enhanced allows you to do that. You can't do that with it taking 6 shots. Something to keep in mind, it gets the most damage you can at all times. And kinetic tremors, I feel, one of the best pound for pound perks for a weapon class. Exotic primaries do more, we know that, and it's going to take something to not use one. But there is and there will be times where you need something like this. Let's say anti-barrier, overload, a scout for champions, it's in the artifact. Then you're going to pair in an exotic special or heavy. So it has a use case. I use kinetic tremors all the time in Master Lost sectors and harder content, solo, and it's one of the very, very few legendary primary weapons I'll ever bring into a GM. Like, it has to be this pretty much. And of course, that's going to account for the modifiers. Maybe there's champions that take scout, surges. But when you look at these kinetic trimmer weapons, two big standouts, the Hung Jury and Battle Scar, because both have shoot to loot kinetic trimmers. And these are the ones that I do bring into Harvey content when applicable. Shoot to loot, if it picks up a brick, it reloads everything, including your scout rifle. So it's extending that mag to get off more trimmers. It grabs heavy, it grabs special bricks, it grabs orbs. So stopping real quick, go to Zavala, focus Hung Juries if you have Ingrams. Like, just do it. I promise. If you get the shoot to loot trimmer roll, you will use it. It's incredible. Also be looking for box breathing. But when you look at these weapons, the scouts, with trimmers, we have imperative, easy to get. It's what this review is all about. It's craftable, can be enhanced kinetic trimmers, can be enhanced demolitionist. Hung Jury, you can focus it now, but it's still great. Randy's throwing knife, massive perk pull. You need to play the Crucible. Nameless Midnight, it doesn't have really any great pairings for kinetic trimmers. Then Transfiguration. It can also get demo trimmers, discord trimmers, enhanced perks, but it's a raid weapon. You need to raid and then get 5 red borders. So for Bungie to make an accessible one, like imperative, I'm all for that. I'm all in. Because all those other ones, a lot of players, maybe if you're new, or maybe not, maybe you just haven't obtained something like that. And with a role like Demo Trimmers enhanced, you can do a lot of cool things. And you're doing it from a distance, like right here, a Renewal Grasp Hunter. Throw the Dust Field, start laying into the target, you break the crystal, you have on the fragment, that way you get a faster grenade cooldown. All the ads around your main target that are getting collateraled by kinetic trimmers, those are giving you nade energy, and you're gonna have that nade back in no time. So yes, it does put in work this time around. If you don't have something like this, I encourage you to get it. For the craft, PvE, it would go something like this. Reload Masterwork, Fluted Barrel, Flared Magwell, Demolitionist Kinetic Trimmers, enhanced if you go all in. The Barrel Mag Masterwork, all that's combating the downfalls of a high impact, getting the reload up, getting the stability up. It makes it feel not as clunky. And of course, if any other perk kind of catches your eye, you can craft that too. But I think that this is going to be the main thing to go for. As far as the Crucible, really hard to get past the boxy scope, extremely restrictive. But looking into it and playing with it, one thing really stuck out, and that's no distractions, explosive payload. Let's be clear, like this is a Midtown weapon, not Endless Fail, not even a Jav 4. It needs to be a long range map. You need to be laning with it, because a weapon like this, when you're 50 meters and out, you got them. It's extremely hard for them to combat it. But with this roll, check it out. Like if you run 100 resilience, that accounts for better anti-flinch. And the way you set this thing up, you're gonna want more stability on it. That could mean steady rounds, stability masterwork. That's gonna help for anti-flinch. And with no distractions, that's all coming together for one of the best anti-flinch setups in the game. And on top, I'm running the Sotarachne helmet on Strand Hunter. More flinch resist when I have Woven Mail. So this setup, you're a rock. Literally, you're planted, you're not moving, you're in the back. And personally, it's not too fun, but extremely effective. Massive anti-flinch. You barely move. A lot of times you don't even really notice it. And then on the other side, you're shooting bricks yourself with a high impact explosive payload shot. If that's your jam, go right ahead. In this setting, it's very good. But comparatively, like a Hung Jury, a couple of other scouts I think outperform it. They're not as restrictive. They're a little bit faster with their handling, ADS. And it's going to take a certain type of player to groove with this. And if you're that player, keep on keeping on, because you're the type of player that it's a nightmare to go up against. So when I ranked it, a 3 out of 5 out of 5. Keep in mind, like a 2.5 out of 5 is midline. Like, I don't think I'm ever gonna view a kinetic trimmer weapon as a midline weapon. I'm not. They're too good. It's gonna be above that. So that got it to 3, and then enhanced got it to 3.5. That's why I went that route. Above average, it puts in work for what it is, but just a flat out non-enhanced shoot to loot Hung Jury is gonna beat it a little bit due to utility alone, refilling everything, grabbing orbs, grabbing heavy and special. It's too good. But there's a lot of players, and that might be you, that don't have a weapon like this. And if you're one of those, this one is perfect to start out. It will perform for you. In the Crucible, I think the main thing is that no distractions payload. Anti-flinch, you apply flinch, but it's very odd. It's clunky, kind of boring, not my cup of tea, but it might be yours. And again, comparing it with its rating, how I have it, to other things in the game, it's not worthless. You can do well with it, but there are better options. You can use it on any subclass, any character. In a lot of cases, it's going to enhance your kit, your exotics, because of Demolitionist Kinetic Trimmers, like that Renewal Grasp example. So to wrap up, a Trimmer Scout is a great tool to have. If you don't have one, get it. No questions asked, straight up. I love trimmer weapons for champions. They're great for stun. It's one of the best things in the game for stunning, because you can switch to your other things and just melt them. It had a tough hill to climb, but it got there in my eyes. It can put in work. So look in your vault, see what you have. It's going to be your decision. If you're new here, remember to hit the subscribe button. And if you are subscribed, thank you so much for your support. Let's talk about imperative down below. A lot's changed since this weapon first came out. I think the origin trait's a big part of it, extending the magazine. It's a pretty good little weapon, but I would love to hear what you think about it. Thank you for watching, and until the next one, I am CoolGuy.